Virgo, you've been on a long road of self-reflection, haven't you? There was a time when you pulled back from everything, not because you didn't care, but because your soul needed silence. You weren't hiding, you were searching for clarity, for peace, for truth. The hermit shows up when we're no longer interested in noise, but in meaning. Maybe you looked at old patterns and asked yourself, why do I keep attracting the same type of connection? Maybe you journaled late at night, wrestled with memories that still sting, or sat quietly, hoping the answers would float up through the silence. That's the hermit's path, a deep dive into your own emotional blueprint. And Virgo, you've walked that path bravely even when it was hard, even when it was lonely. And now you're stepping out. The sun is rising in your life. You may not have noticed it fully yet, but it's here. This card speaks to joy that doesn't need to be earned. It invites you to stop overthinking the good moments, to allow yourself to smile just because something felt nice. You might have received a sweet message out of nowhere, or someone new entered your orbit and made you feel light again. That's the sun. That's healing. And Virgo, the truth is, you deserve it. After everything you've been through, you're finally in a season where your heart gets to rest. You've done the heavy lifting. You've carried the weight. Now let yourself be carried by the light, even if just for a moment. Even if it feels unfamiliar, let it warm you. There's a softness returning to you. Virgo, can you feel it, that gentle pull in your heart that says, maybe it's okay to hope again? That's the Page of Cups speaking. This card doesn't walk in with fireworks. It doesn't demand attention. It simply appears quiet, kind, and deeply sincere. It's the message you didn't expect but needed. It's the feeling of lightness after a long, heavy season. And most importantly, it's a sign that someone, somewhere, might be thinking of you with a kind of care that asks, this person whose name might begin with a J or an L won't come charging in like a movie character. No grand gestures. Instead, it'll be something much more honest. Maybe a message checking in. Maybe they share a memory you forgot. Maybe they simply smile at you in a way that feels familiar, like you've known them in another lifetime. Don't ignore those moments. The Page of Cups is about emotional truth. It's not always loud, but it's always real. This could be someone younger than you, or just younger in spirit. They carry curiosity, creativity, and a kind of emotional openness that feels rare these days. They're not here to fix you or rescue you. They're just present, and that presence feels safe. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be impressive. Around them, you can simply breathe, and that might be the biggest gift of all. Maybe it starts with a song recommendation, or they send you a photo of something random that reminded them of you. Maybe they remember a small detail about you, like your favorite scent, or that one dream you shared months ago, and bring it up in the most unexpected moment. These little moments can open big doors if you're paying attention, because love doesn't always arrive in roses. Sometimes it arrives in the form of consistent kindness, unexpected care, the kind of emotional simplicity Virgo often owe. Think back to when someone made you feel deeply seen without needing to say much. Remember how grounding that felt? This is what the Page of Cups is inviting into your life again. That sense of being met where you are. No masks, no conditions, just presence. You might find this energy in someone completely new, or it could be someone you've known, but never truly saw in this light until now. This message is also a reminder vulnerability is not weakness. It's the birthplace of every meaningful connection. Virgo, I know you like structure. You like to understand where things are going before you even take the first step. But Page of Cups energy asks you to move with your heart, not your spreadsheet. Can you let yourself be surprised? Can you let something unfold without needing all the answers first? Here's the truth: your heart has been healing. You've done the work. You've walked away from situations that felt like home but hurt too much to stay. And now, the universe is responding to that courage with a new beginning. Not flashy, not chaotic, but deeply, quietly good. Don't rush it. Don't interrogate it. Just notice. When you think of someone and your body softens, that's a clue. When you hear their name and you smile before you realize it, that's alignment. And if this person makes you feel safe without trying, loved without question, and seen without performing, don't second guess it. Let it be. Let it grow. And above all, let yourself receive it. Because Virgo, the truth is, sometimes the most magical moments come wrapped in the quietest packages. And the love that lasts is often the one that walks in on tiptoe, not the one that kicks down your door. So stay open, keep listening. The Page of Cups doesn't shout, but it always means what it says. And if your heart flutters when that J or L name appears again, lean in. It just might be your new beginning. When 3 cards speak together, they tell a full story, and this one, Virgo, is about your emotional rebirth. The Hermit, the Sun, and the Page of Cups are not just 3 points in time. They're phases of your soul's evolution. Let's weave them together. You started in the Hermit phase, that season of stillness, the solitude that wasn't about loneliness, it was about getting honest. Maybe you walked through heartbreak, maybe through burnout, or just sheer exhaustion of giving too much and receiving too little. You withdrew, but not to disappear, only to remember who you were when no one else was looking. That's not weakness. That's a sacred retreat. That's what strong people do when their spirit needs a reset. And then came the Sun, that beautiful reminder that life doesn't only happen in pain, that joy is not a betrayal of what hurt you. You started to feel again. Maybe it was small things, a warm coffee on a good morning, a compliment from someone unexpected, a belly laugh that surprised you. That was the sun cracking through. You allowed it. You didn't push it away. You stopped saying, "This is too good to last." Instead, you said, "Maybe I deserve this." And that shift that matters. And now, you've reached the Page of Cups. This card is where things get real again, but in a good way. It says, now that you've reclaimed your joy, can you let someone else walk beside you in it? Can you allow love back in, not the kind that drains, but the kind that fills, the kind that asks nothing but offers everything in presence? These 3 cards build upon each other. One is about remembering, one is about awakening, one is about beginning again. That's your path. That's the rhythm of your becoming. Let's get even more practical. Think of how many times you told yourself, "I'll open up again when it feels safe, when I'm ready." But Virgo, readiness rarely comes wrapped in certainty. Most of the time, it arrives as a whisper, not a shout, a soft nudge, a curious spark, a moment that invites you to take one small step in trust. These 3 cards are that whisper, that opening, that permission. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom. That's the real power of your journey. You know what red flags look like now. You understand your boundaries better. You know how to communicate your needs not as demands, but as truths. That makes you powerful. It also makes you magnetic to people who are emotionally available and ready to meet you where you are. So if you find yourself being drawn to someone, or if someone's energy keeps returning, especially someone with a name starting in J or L, pay attention. Don't force it, but don't dismiss it either. Sometimes, the universe circles a person back into our field not because we didn't finish the story, but because we're finally ready to live it right. This is also about self-trust, about knowing that you won't lose yourself again, that you won't shrink to fit into someone else's life, that you won't compromise your peace just to keep someone around. And if someone new enters or re-enters, you'll be able to tell if they're safe. Not because they say the right words, but because your nervous system doesn't go into overdrive around them. Your body knows, your breath knows. That calmness, that's wisdom, and it's hard-earned. Let me tell you what a woman once wrote me after a similar reading. She said, "I always thought I'd know when love came back because it would knock loudly. But instead, it came in the form of a man who brought her tea when she was tired, who remembered her stories, and who made space for her silence. He wasn't loud, but he was consistent, and that was everything." That's the kind of love Page of Cups points to. Something that meets you where you are, not perfect, but present, not overwhelming, but peaceful. And Virgo, you're in a place now where you can actually recognize that kind of love, not run from it. And there's a bigger lesson in this: you don't have to chase meaning. When you've done the work to heal, to return to yourself, meaning comes and finds you. Opportunities open, the right people drift back, clarity replaces confusion. You begin to see who you are, not through the lens of pain, but through the light of self-trust. That is everything. This next phase of your life isn't about proving anything. It's about receiving. You've proven enough. You've carried enough. You've fixed enough. It's time to be poured into. So let these 3 cards be a mirror. They're not predicting a fairy tale. They're revealing a cycle of emotional maturity. You've grown, and now you get to love differently, not harder, just better, more aligned, more honest, more free. Let this reading be your permission slip to feel again, to hope again, to say yes to something soft, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. Because fear isn't always a warning, it's often a doorway. And behind that doorway might be someone whose name starts with J or L, someone who doesn't complete you, but complements your journey. You're not broken, you're blooming. And this is the part where you stop rehearsing your healing and start living it. So if that message spoke to you, hold it close, let it unfold, let it surprise you. And above all, don't close the door before the story begins. This is the part of the journey where something shifts deep within you. Virgo, it's subtle, but undeniable. A kind of quiet turning point that doesn't require an audience or applause. It just happens in the silence, in the softness, in the space where you finally say, "I don't need to hold this anymore." You've carried so much. The weight of expectations, the responsibility to fix what others broke, the pressure to always get it right. But here's the truth: most people don't tell you being the strong one all the time is exhausting. It chips away at your spirit until one day you wake up and realize you're tired of being the reliable one, tired of being the understanding one, tired of carrying it all in silence. This is where the shift begins. You don't stop loving people. You just stop abandoning yourself to do it. And that's the most sacred kind of breakthrough there is. Because suddenly, you stop answering every message that drains you. You stop explaining your boundaries to people committed to misunderstanding them. You stop making excuses for energy that no longer feels right. And you realize peace isn't found in perfection. It's found in permission. The permission to choose yourself, even if it disappoints. Think about that for a second. How many times have you kept quiet to avoid conflict? How many times have you said yes while your soul was screaming no? How many times have you stayed too long just because leaving felt too disruptive? That's not strength. That's survival. And you've done enough surviving. Virgo, it's time to live. Living means letting go of what doesn't fit anymore. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of alignment. And yes, it might be scary at first. There might be guilt. There might be questions. But on the other side of that discomfort is freedom, a kind of inner clarity that doesn't need validation, a knowing that says this is who I am now, and I don't owe anyone an explanation for it. That's what this moment is offering you, a clean slate, a new starting point. And not because everything is perfect, but because you've decided to stop waiting for perfection to start moving. Life isn't waiting. Joy isn't waiting. Love sure as hell isn't waiting, and neither should you. This could be as small as deleting a number from your phone, or finally unsubscribing from the emotional drama someone else keeps trying to pull you into. Or maybe it's bigger than that. Maybe it's deciding to move, to change jobs, to end a friendship that's quietly been draining your energy for years. Whatever it is, the energy right now supports release. Not dramatic, not messy, just honest. You might not even realize how heavy something has been until you finally set it down. That's how energy works. We normalize the tension, we adjust to discomfort, until one day we remember what lightness feels like. And it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual. It's the moment you wake up and your chest doesn't feel tight anymore. It's the moment you realize you haven't checked your phone hoping for their name. It's the moment your laugh comes back, unforced, full-bodied, real. That's the shift. That's the power. And Virgo, it's happening for you now. Let's make it practical. Write a list. Title it What I'm No Longer Available For. And then be honest. Write down the patterns, the people, the behaviors, even your own thoughts that you're done participating in. Not from a place of judgment, but from clarity. Then, make a second list. What I'm ready to welcome. And fill that one with energy that feels light, that feels kind, that feels reciprocal. Read them out loud. Let your voice hear your truth. Because when you speak what you're ready for, the universe starts to rearrange itself to support that decision. And you're not doing this alone. You never were. Your spirit team, your ancestors, your inner wisdom, they've been waiting for this shift, cheering for it, preparing you for it. You just had to be ready to claim it. Let me share something someone once told me. She said the moment she cut ties with the version of herself that always overgave, she felt physically lighter. She said she cleaned her apartment and cried not from sadness, but from relief. She finally made space for peace, and a week later, she met someone new. Not a fairy tale, just someone kind, present, interested. And it all started because she made room. So here's your moment. Not a climax with fireworks, but one with clarity, a sacred, quiet, irreversible shift that marks the end of one version of you and the gentle beginning of another. You're not who you were a year ago. You're not who you were last month. And honestly, you're not even who you were yesterday. That's how fast energy moves when we finally say yes to ourselves. So Virgo, say yes and don't look back. And maybe you're wondering, what if I let go and nothing better shows up? What if I walk away from what's familiar and just end up alone? That's a fair fear. But let me remind you of something important. Emptiness isn't a punishment. It's a pause, a clearing, a holy space that allows something new, something more aligned to find you. You don't plant a seed and expect fruit the next morning. You water, you wait, you trust the process. Your soul is the same. When you release what's not meant for you, it might feel quiet at first, but that quiet isn't failure, it's preparation. It's the echo of space being made. And Virgo, you've been making space, even if you didn't know it. Every time you said no to what hurt, every time you chose rest over chaos, every time you trusted your intuition, that was space making. So what comes next? That's the beautiful part. You don't have to force it. You just have to stay open. Stay grounded. Stay honest with yourself. The people meant for you will feel like ease, not effort. The situations meant for you will feel like alignment, not anxiety. You won't have to chase, convince, or compromise your essence. You'll just know. So if today feels like a turning point, it is. If your chest feels lighter just hearing this, it's not your imagination. It's your spirit saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting. Thank you for finally choosing peace over patterns. This is your moment. Virgo, claim it fully. Virgo, if you've made it here, then something in this message resonated. Maybe it stirred a memory, brought up a feeling you thought was buried, or reminded you that your heart is still very much alive. This moment right now isn't about what comes next. It's about honoring everything you've already lived through to get here. You've walked through silence that screamed louder than any words. You've held yourself together in rooms where no one noticed you were falling apart. And still you kept going. That alone makes you strong. But strength isn't what this next chapter asks of you. What it asks is softness, openness, a willingness to lay down the armor and let something real touch you again. This isn't about fixing yourself. You're not broken. You never were. What you are is evolving, waking up to a deeper truth about who you are and what you actually need. And part of that awakening is learning to receive, to be seen, to be held, not just by others, but by yourself. Maybe you've spent years trying to be the person everyone could count on. But what if now? It's time for you to count on yourself in a new way, to show up for your joy the same way you've shown up for your responsibilities, to let peace be your new baseline, not anxiety, to allow softness, not just productivity, to lead the way. That shift won't happen overnight, but it begins with one choice, one breath, one moment of honesty that says, I'm ready. Ready to stop running, ready to stop performing, ready to start living from a place that feels true. So take that breath now. Let it settle. Let it root. And know this: what's ahead of you doesn't require you to become someone else. It only asks that you return to who you've always been underneath the noise. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right on time. And Virgo, if you're wondering what it looks like to actually begin again, not in theory, but in practice, it starts here. It starts with you giving yourself permission to rewrite the rules you've been living by. Rules like, I have to earn rest. I have to prove my worth. I have to stay just to keep the peace. What if none of those are true? What if you are already enough, just as you are? This next version of your life won't demand that you hustle harder or love louder. It will ask you to be clearer, calmer, and more connected to your truth. It will invite you to be selective, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You've seen what happens when you ignore your gut. Now it's time to trust it. And yes, there may still be moments of doubt. You're human, but those doubts won't drown you anymore. You know how to float now. You know how to pause, check in with yourself, and choose differently. That's power. That's growth. That's alignment. So let this closing be your quiet celebration. A breath of gratitude for how far you've come. A promise to yourself that you won't shrink for anyone ever again. And a deep, steady belief that what's meant for you is not behind you, it's just ahead, waiting for you to arrive. You've got this. If something in this message moved you, Virgo, don't let it stop here. Let it live. Let it breathe through your actions. This isn't just a tarot reading. It's a conversation with your higher self. And right now, that self is whispering, take the next step. So here's what I want you to do. If you felt clarity while listening to this comment below with the words, I choose peace, that's not just a phrase. That's a declaration, a moment of energetic agreement with your own evolution. And if someone came to mind while listening, someone whose name starts with J or L, write it down. No context, no backstory. Just let it exist in the open. That's how release begins. And don't stop with yourself. If you know another Virgo who's been quietly carrying more than they should send this their way, let them know they're not alone. That something softer is possible. That they deserve lightness too. Now, if you're still here at the very end of this video, Take a deep breath with me. In through your nose, hold it, and release. That breath, it's sacred. It's a reset. It's a way to signal to your nervous system that you're safe now. You're grounded. You've just been witnessed in your truth, and that is no small thing. This is more than a message. It's an initiation, a turning point, one you'll look back on weeks, months, even years from now and say that was the moment I chose differently. Not louder, not harder, but truer. And before you click away, make sure you subscribe, because the truth is, this isn't a one-time conversation. There's more guidance coming, more rituals, more wisdom, more reminders that your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's your power. And if this reading helped remind you of that, you owe it to yourself to stay connected. I'll see you in the next reading. And until then, stay soft, stay sovereign, and stay true to your own sacred rhythm, because no one lives your life like you do. And that's your magic. Thank you for listening, for showing up, for saying yes to your healing. I'll meet you again when the stars call. But until then, trust yourself. You know more than you think. And Virgo, if you're feeling the urge to go one step further, take a moment for a simple but powerful ritual. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. At the top, write what I'm releasing. Then let it flow. Write the names, habits, fears, doubts, anything that's been heavy on your heart. You don't have to show it to anyone. Just get it out. Then below that, write what I'm calling in and list the peace, clarity, joy, connection, or softness you're now ready to invite into your life. When you're done, fold the paper, hold it to your chest, breathe with it, feel it, and then burn it, bury it, or place it somewhere sacred. Let the act become the affirmation. This is how you reclaim your voice, your energy, your future. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video if it resonated, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future guidance, and turn on notifications so when the next reading comes through, your spirit hears it in divine timing. Leave a comment, not just for me, but for the Virgo community. This is a space for reflection, for honesty, and for deep, soulful connection. When one of us shares, we all rise. Your words might be the exact thing someone else needed today. So again, if a name came to you, don't ignore it. If a sense of peace washed over you, honor it. And if your intuition whispered that this was your message, believe it. You're not alone. You're not too late. And the story of you, it's just getting good.